Welcome, everybody, to In the Buff.
Why you gotta be so loud every time? Why you gotta be so loud?
Like serious energy.
We got Chris, Scott, John, and Cody.
Oh, yes, we do.
In that order.
And I think we've got a pretty fun episode for
I have a
everybody
problem.
today. Go ahead.
What's your problem?
Is it the fact that you didn't play D&D this weekend?
That's
I
one of them.
am sorry for that.
I'm not.
Oh, you too busy going to fucking roller derby? Is that what it is?
Well, let's not spoil my corner.
Well,
I
it
thought
seems
you were-
like, am I like part of the group anymore? Am I like part of the group anymore?
You're right here recording this podcast with
I
us.
thought-
Oh, but I didn't go to roller derby. I didn't go to roller derby.
You were asleep.
I didn't
I
go to
thought-
see fucking Super Mario Brothers with my two friends.
You didn't want to see it.
Am I part of this group anymore?
No.
I asked you if you wanted to see it. You can't play the victim when I offered.
Read the
No,
comments.
he absolutely can play the victim, and I support him.
Thank you.
I don't. Fuck you.
Mostly because it seems to be it's directed more at you because I also didn't go to the Super Mario movie,
Super Marvel.
Super Marvel movie.
It was not a Marvel property.
From Final Fantasy X Omega Ruins Guide video, Naxukao. I have attempted 100% on Final Fantasy. By the way, we're reading comics.
Comics?
Comics.
Like a Super Marvel movie?
So if you'd like us to read your comment on the podcast, just
Leave one.
comment on a video.
Yeah.
So Naxuko did that. He said, I've attempted 100% on FFX. I am really tired,
You're
guys.
great.
And the Great Marlborough has been put an end to it about 6/7 of the time. After a few years off, I'm going for it again, just gonna grind ribbons to save any heartache.
Nice.
Good
hold on.
luck.
I mean, you're never going to see this again. You're never going to see us talk about it. If anybody else is listening to this, and you're having the same problem, just get Orin's special weapon. It gives you first strike, and you can deal with them a lot easier, like
Yeah,
I said in the guide.
That knocks the 6/7 down to a 5/7. That's a perfect score.
Speaking of Orin special weapon, on Final Fantasy X Orin Celestial Weapon Guide Masamune video,
Ah.
Jack Yeager 87 says, all that work makes me not want to do it, lol.
Jaeger
I respect that.
is German for hunter.
Oh.
Wow.
So it's Aaron Hunter?
Yes.
What a fucking loser.
Oh.
Well, that really separates the wheat from the chaff, though.
Mm.
Just this open declaration of non-committance.
Yeah.
So is it to Yeg? Is to hunt?
I don't.
In the
Okay.
Buff episode 30, Bust in Brackets, part 2 out of 2, from the tournament that we just finished up last week.
Yeah.
Kyle coming in, so you know he has some things to say. He said, hard disagree with Vader. Since we can count the tail of episode 3, his motivation becomes the driving self-hatred of having destroyed everything he ever cared about in his quest to save the things he cared about. He has to be Vader because being Anakin would mean he has to live with having destroyed everything for nothing.
What does that have to do with his motivation?
His motivation
That
is
sounds like character development.
his motivation is that driving self-hatred of having destroyed everything he ever cared about. It's kind of a monkey's paw
I see.
situation.
And so because that was his motivation, he failed in episode 4 to be able to destroy Luke because...
Well, here's the thing. Somebody else replied to him. Me, actually.
Oh, hey.
And we kind of went back and forth. And I said, one of Star Wars' biggest problems is that it doesn't tell a very cohesive story from a writing standpoint. They were just making it up as more movies got greenlit, so when Lucas made 5 and 6, he retconned things that were established in 4. When he made the prequels, he retcons things from the original trilogy. All this leads to Vader being a wildly different character in every movie. Yes, by episode 3, Anakin/Vader is a deep, complex, albeit poorly realized character with interesting motivations. We're told he's still that character in episode 4, but does he act like it anymore? He acts like a scary henchman with very weak motivation. He deserves to go a lot further, but he was an unfortunate victim of the tournament format and seeding. I blame John.
And then Cody replied, "No, you."
No, that was Cody's reply.
Oh,
That was my reply.
sorry.
Kyle's reply to my reply was
Yes.
No, you.
blaming John. We can agree on that.
I will. I'm going to defend it. Even with that, his motivation of being, I hate myself. Blah, blah, blah. I still find the Joker's motivation more compelling.
Okay.
Wow, Kyle went back and watched some old episodes, huh?
Yep. So Kyle commented again about In the Buff episode 1, when we were talking about ghost stories. I mentioned a ghost story from the old house we used to live in.
I like how it's the gang's all here, and Kyle was not in that episode.
He wasn't in the gang.
I wanted to chime in about that old house. In that cupboard under the stairs, there was a trap door at the back that went down into a sectioned off part of the basement that you couldn't get to in otherwise. Additionally, during the majority of the period of the Underground Railroad, there was a federal law that ran away slaves, and free states had to be returned to co-op discovered slaves that had jurisdiction to send people up into free states to apprehend them. These things don't change the story in any way. I just wanted to add them.
Great.
Thanks, Kyle.
Thanks.
What did you want to...
There was no punctuation.
I see. In the Buff, episode 1, Kyle commenting again.
What the hell,
No
Kyle?
punctuation.
On subject of sleep paralysis, thankfully I've never had it, but I will say that whenever I do have nightmares, thankfully become rarer and rarer, but whenever I have them, it gets to the point where the terror is built enough that it's almost able to wake me up, and the dreams start over without me waking up, and I'm still aware of it. It sounds like he's dreaming, like he just woke up and he's trying to retell his dream. I'm still aware of the previous events within it vaguely, in so much as the terror that is still there has remained and just continues to build without ever the release of waking up and realizing I'm not actually experiencing anything real. As verbose as that comment is, I can understand what he's saying.
Mm-hmm.
I definitely have ridden the wave, so to speak, of between waking
That
and
term
dreaming.
is, I keep using it, hypnagogia.
Yeah.
Two things. You look adorable in a blanket.
Thank you.
Aw.
It's very cold in your house.
Second thing, in so much is one word.
Yeah.
Huh.
Same thing as albeit,
Mm-hmm.
which I pronounced as albeit for the longest of time because I'm a dumb.
Insofar is also another one.
Huh.
From our very first YouTube Shorts, by the way, we have launched YouTube Shorts on the Double Buff channel, everybody.
You can buy them now at our merch
3
store.
years late.
Shorts that say Double Buff on the on the inside.
Check the description.
And on our Devil Bat short, Fuzzy Stripetail comments, the script of Defreevel Bat was so bulletproof that it was extremely shocking how quickly it died in the theaters.
Yeah.
In the Buff, episode 31, Bustin' Brackets, part 3 of 2. Kyle, coming in. Still sad, I don't get to do my Vader soliloquy. He must have had a lecture prepared for us. And Darth Vader, weeks later, still upset.
Still upset. He's crying about it.
And then he commented in reply to himself, or have Scott read my Vader soliloquy, because that was fun too. Did you get any notes about that?
No.
Okay.
Oh no! It was when it was his notes. The Vader soliloquy was when he gave us his notes regarding the first two episodes, the first sides of the bracket.
I need to go back and link his justifications for his matchups.
Yeah, people are chomping at the bit to see those.
Final Fantasy X Walk Celestial Weapon Guide World Champion video. Genesis Droid. If I reset the data, all your player I hire will also be gone. I have to hire again. And I replied to him, as Double Buff, correct. That's why you hire them for 13 games, so their contracts expire right before you reset your data. You waste the least amount of money this way. And then he replies, arg, I'm not big fan of Squaresoft minigames, but I will try to play Blitz with the same team until I get the weapon part and the overdrive. Hopefully, I don't get bored though. Blitz is extremely boring when I understand how to win. And then he also replied, and thanks for the answer. I really appreciate that you are actually care to answer and do it so quick.
Hell yeah.
Praying emoji. And then I said, no problem. Happy to help. Yeah, Blitzball can definitely get tedious if it's just an obstacle to get something else.
If nothing else, that guy will have an easier time playing Blitzball.
And the final comment, coming in just yesterday, Final Fantasy X, Arn Celestial Weapon Guide Masamune video, from CP Campbell 3. So I've got the maxed out Masamune, but it won't break damage limit. I only get like 5,000 to 6,000 damage with it. For reference, I get the max 9999 with the Ogre Blade, so it's not the case of being leveled up enough. Any explanation for this? He's only slightly weaker than Tidus, whose Khaled Balg is working as it should. John?
Well, I actually just responded to it because I just saw that message.
Okay.
So they can see it because I know they won't see it on the podcast.
Yeah. They might watch.
They might. And if you do watch, every weapon has a special algorithm to it that does more damage based on the health that the person has. So everybody
That's
but
right.
Orin's, if they're at full health, will do max damage. Orin's has this like samurai thing, like ideal to it, where the lower health he has, the more damage he does.
That was a cool ability in Civ 5.
Mm-hmm.
The samurai unit did damage as if it were at full health, even if it were at 1 health.
And I believe the leader was Oda Nobunaga,
Yes.
famous Japanese character
That's
from
Japanese,
mythology.
actually. That name is Japanese for Odo, Nobu, snake person.
Is that true?
Yeah.
I didn't realize that.
Yeah.
All right, so we're done with comments, and we are on to my corner after going 4 weeks with John's corner.
Yeah.
Comments aren't your corner?
Bit of a fucking prima donna this time.
I guess I get 2 corners now that I guess I get a corner every episode.
Yeah, but you feel no passion for the comments.
That's true. If we could just skip it, I would. But you all insist.
Yes.
So I'm a
Yes.
professional.
Yep.
And I won't call out my colleagues on air because I'm a professional.
And you know that if you did call me out,
He would fire me.
I would have a fucking baby rage.
Yeah.
Is what I would do.
So, my corner is also slightly John's corner and Chris's corner because we had a bit of an adventure this weekend.
He said my name first because he likes me more.
I don't know how this happened, but some weeks ago, probably 2 weeks ago, somebody showed the group a compilation video of men's roller derby from like the 1980s.
You know what it was?
70s.
I've been thinking about this a little bit. We kind of started talking about going to a Dragons game.
Oh, yeah.
Dayton Dragons.
Yeah.
And I was like, I don't like the idea of going to live baseball because it's like not active play.
Mm-hmm.
But I could get like behind going like, I don't know, like a basketball game because they don't stop. Or like a roller derby. And I said it as a joke. And then John's like, roller derby? Here's this cool video.
Okay, so there it is. And we got really into this video because it was badass.
It was badass.
It was back before the liberal agenda turned us all into pussies.
Before safety regulations.
And people were just kicking each other in the balls and like tackling each other.
There was real life RKOs.
Yeah. It was just crazy wild. And we're like, I wonder if they still do this. And we realized that Dayton actually has a roller derby league.
Yep.
The Gem City Roller Derby League. And it just so happened that 2 weeks after we made this realization, they were hosting a regional tournament for their like conference.
Mm-hmm.
And that happened earlier yesterday and today.
Yep. And so
as of recording this,
A 2-day event.
We just saw that and we're like, why don't we go see what roller derby is?
yeah, let's see what this is like.
And so I and Chris and John went to the tournament yesterday and today, and we are going to report back about our experiences.
Who won?
Everybody wins at roller derby.
Okay.
I don't know who won. Maybe Purple Rain. By the way, Dayton has 3 semi-pro, semi-amateur teams.
Sure.
They have Purple Rain, the Violent Femmes, and Lavender Haze.
These are female teams.
Yes.
Yes, that's important to mention.
And
this is the women's league, and it's flat track.
yes. So it wasn't on
yes.
the ramp.
Okay.
I didn't realize that Dayton's official color is purple, but all of their names and their jerseys were purple related. Anyway, there were 8 teams, mostly from around the Midwest, 1 from Pennsylvania, 3 from Dayton, 1 from Kentucky, 1 from Cleveland, and then 1 from Ontario, Canada.
Also,
Ooh.
and Indianapolis.
And Indianapolis, yes,
The big one was Canada.
for sure.
For us,
All the way
yeah.
from Guelph.
Yeah,
The Royal City. The Royal City Bruteleggers. By the way, that's another thing is... I don't know how tongue-in-cheek the sport is, whether they're taking it very seriously. I mean, I can understand a certain amount of seriousness whenever there's like actual competition, but a lot of the teams have like funny names, and all of the players have something called derby names. So it's like a nickname that they give themselves.
And some of these get really creative. Some of them are just kind of, they're there.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know. You said you didn't know how serious it gets. There's teams that we saw get absolutely blitzed and lost by like 250 points.
Mm-hmm.
And they were just sitting there having a good time. So I don't know.
And I will say that it wasn't nearly as violent as the videos we saw from, the 70s and 80s. But these women are still taking pretty big hits sometimes.
Oh, yeah.
They are really dedicated to their craft. Like, I was impressed at how much punishment they were taking out there.
I could never.
Why don't we, I don't even know where to start. I kind of want to list off some of the, derby names.
Well, yeah.
From the Gem City League.
Let's start from the beginning. So on Saturday, there were 4 competitions. There were four events that happened. Bouts. Yes, that's what it was. And our first one was the Violet Femmes versus
Naptown.
What was their team name? I don't even remember. They had the Gears of War logo on them.
They're
I can't remember.
They actually might not have had a name.
I think they were the Naptown Roller Girls.
Maybe.
Is Naptown a nickname for?
I can look up some of the names for Naptown if you want to go through some of their names.
Sure. So in the Gem City League, we've got such derby names as Betty Kruger, Blitzkrieg Bex, Bruce Springsteen, Busty St. Clair, Dakota Dynamite. What else we got here? Player number 404, derby name not found. Duchess, Genghis, Glitch. Glitch was a very attractive lady.
I agree.
Okay.
Yeah.
97, Helena Handbasket.
That's good.
357 here, Jen, you in trouble. What else we got? Lethal Lens, Lexical Dexterity, Murder Maid, Nasty Pelosi, Natasha Rolomoff, Punchy Bruiser, Ruthless Skater Ginsburg. 4444, our girl, Shalita Berger.
Ooh.
Dude, we saw her deck a couple people.
She was in the penalty box a lot.
Oh, yeah.
111, Slamwise Gamgee.
Nice.
I still want us just body paint Slam and then Wise on the back. Just 4 people go there. I would love that.
101, Tear a Hole in You. Number 12, Vaya. That's not a funny name. She was just also very pretty.
Yep. Didn't get to see much of her. She played in the first game and then she disappeared.
Oh.
I don't know where she went.
Cody had a chance to talk to her.
Yeah, I saw her in the lobby when I was going to get snacks. And, sometimes it's like, if you knew you had your moment, would you take advantage of it? Or would you let it all slip away?
Remote is ready. Eyes wide. Palms are sweaty.
And, by the way, I mentioned that they're attractive. This is probably the least appropriate context for me to be objectifying women.
Right.
They can all beat you up.
And I do apologize for that. But yeah, they could absolutely beat the shit out of me. Also, it's just not very good to objectify women.
I agree.
On principle.
Moment of silence.
I've never heard you take that stand before.
Well, now that I know that we've got some roller derby girls,
well, no, now that the
podcast.
microphone is on.
Oh my god.
We gotta cater to the derby crowd now, the derby demographic.
You know what? I won't bend the knee. I've always loved women.
Oh, man.
You got some of those
I do.
derby names?
So, there's not as many names for, and you were right, it was Naptown Roller Derby Girls.
Mm-hmm.
You got, let's see, where are we? Got Flannery O'Clobber.
Oh, okay.
We got, Neurotica.
That sounds like a good band.
Double Zero, which was a horrifyingly intimidating roller derbyist.
She was
roulette wheels.
She was mopping the floor.
She was a monster. Like, so there's two roles essentially in roller derby. There's the jammer who can score points, and then there's the blockers, and then you got her who see all the above. This chick was like, the way they'd start out, she'd immediately start blocking the other jammer, and it's like, what do? They had basically two teams. And then, like, she would just run over the blockers like it's nobody's business.
So the jammer their role is to get past the blockers on the other team, and every blocker that they get past, the jammer scores a point for their team, and then they roll around the track and come back to the pack of blockers. Your team's blockers are allowed to kind of disrupt the other team's blockers so that your jammer can get through.
Right.
And then once one jammer gets through, they become the lead jammer, and that's when they can start scoring points.
Also, we were seeing in that video, the blockers could, like, launch the jammer.
We did see that. We did see
yes.
two people, like, slingshot somebody and just deck the jammer.
Dude, it was so good.
Just slam into him. By the way, they're slamming into these blockers at, like, full speed, the jammer sometimes.
Fucking mock Jesus. Like, they go around. So the first match that we saw, you could kind of tell that it was more like the JV League, because, like, it was just set in stone. There's 4 blockers. Us 4 blockers have to stop their jammer.
Mm-hmm.
So you see both the jammers get through, and then they go around the whole track, and, like, the other 4 people are just, like, sitting there geared up, fucking arms locked, like they're about to ruin this person's entire career. And then, like, the person either gets through or they struggle a little bit, and then again eventually get through.
Mm-hmm.
And then, like, you just watch it all happen over again.
Yep. And it's like there's a lot of different strategy about who your jammer should be, whether or not you should have, like, your biggest player with the most momentum to be able to, like, burst through the blocker's blockade.
Yep. Muscle through people.
Or, like, really small players who can, like, get really nimble and kind of artistically skate through, find smaller openings.
This will all be something we dedicate time and plot to in our roller derby anime.
Well, yeah, we should definitely bring that up after we're done talking about the tournament. Is we are thinking about creating a roller derby themed anime.
It 100% started as a joke, but while we were sitting there, I think we came up with some very good seasonal ideas.
We were brainstorming a lot, and we're gonna run them by you, Scott. All of our different ideas.
Oh,
I will take the time to learn animation if I need to.
Okay. Just overseeing it.
Art is a good word to use, because while a lot of it is, there's a lot of brute force and, like, strength and just, like,
power,
brick walls. Like, there are artistic moments where we were like, what the fuck just happened? How did this person not leave with their head unattached?
One of the jammers for the Canadian team, Artuzo.
This is when we decided, okay, this is an awesome sport. We gotta watch more of this.
It was like poetry in motion watching this girl play. Because she was, like, jumping over people and, like, flipping and doing all these different tricks, and she was just so impressive. You could just tell, like, she had a command on the track when she was out there.
It's because weed is legal there.
So the first game, I explained, like, it felt like a JV league, like that was all they were doing. Then we saw the second game was the Brute Leggers, the Canadian team, versus
Kentucky
City.
Vet City.
Yeah.
Bowling
the Kentucky
Green
team. And Artuzo, you're noticing that we're saying her name because we had it memorized.
Mm-hmm. That's her derby name, by the way.
Yeah, every time we saw her on the field, or on the rink, it was like, okay, like, we stopped talking, we just started watching what was happening, and it was incredible. And, like, their first go around, you see her get a little bit of space, and, like, all her blockers are looking at her, and you see her, like, throw some arm motions out, and they split around and start, like, blocking the other blockers.
She's calling plays!
Yeah.
They form a wall so she can scoot around the outside and make it past.
And then, like, you see her just, like, you see them, like, form, like, push somebody, and then she has to take this outside route. And you just see her do this pirouette, and she tiptoes around the line to stay in. And, like, the whole crowd just starts going nuts. And I'm like, this is Derby.
I think that was us. I think we were going nuts.
She scored 16 points in the first jam, I believe.
Typically, the lead jammer, whoever gets up first, will score 4, and then they have the ability to call it off so the other jammer can't score anything. And then it resets everything, and they go back to the front.
And start like their original scrum.
That means she passed 16 blockers.
Yes.
So
Yeah.
how about works? It's 2 30-minute sessions of play with a 15-minute intermission in the middle. Each time they form up and they start going around, that's called a jam, and those last for 2 minutes. But you can call it off. The lead can call it off at any time.
And
They
reset.
want
Like a
to.
timeout.
Yeah.
No, just like a stop a play.
This
Yeah.
like goes to a new down.
It essentially, yeah. So it's like a brief pause, but it's essentially like somebody scores a goal in Rocket League. You have that brief intermission, everybody gets reset.
Mhm.
Yeah.
But to talk about the Brute Leaguers a little bit more, because we only mentioned one person, you have Pulp Vixen. That's a good name.
I love that movie.
You have Rottweiler. You have Artuzo. There's Smurfalicious.
She was one of the
There's-
jammers.
Yep, you have Alexecutioner, another jammer.
Oh.
Flying Frenchie. Animal. Spinderella, who was also pretty intimidating.
Very
She-
intimidating.
That first game we saw them in, Spinderella got into the penalty box so
Yep,
often.
Mhm.
yep.
Honestly, like, I don't know shit about fuck, but we were like making commentary, and it felt like whenever your jammer gets put into the penalty box, that's what's called a power jam, kind of like a power play in
For the
hockey.
other
Right,
team.
right.
Because your team can no longer score points, but the other team can.
Exactly.
Mhm.
And
And your blockers are just playing offense and trying to destroy your blockers to let your jammer go through.
so I felt like Spinderella was in the penalty box so much, she probably cost them the game.
Mhm.
Because most of their points, Vet City's, the Kentucky team's points were scored on power jams.
Was that Queen of Hearts?
No, Queen of Hearts was, maybe it was. I can't
What
remember.
You should look it up.
What kinds of things do you need to do to go into the penalty box?
So, the way that they had the safety regulations set up, apparently, like, if you try to block somebody, like, in a vulnerable spot, like in the spine or anything, or if
Cervix.
you try to, like, use, like, your forearm, like, if you try to headbutt somebody, if you try to block them in the head, like, clotheslines are illegal now. If you try to purposely trip somebody,
Clotheslines are illegal. That being said, it's not like we
They
didn't
still
see
happen.
any.
We saw
they're
one,
only a 30-second penalty.
and she
She got decleated. Like, her
She got-
feet just fly out from under her and hits her that's right
the
on her
loudest
back.
noise that day was that hit.
Our concussions resonated, and I'm like, yep,
Uh-huh.
yeah, I felt that one.
Yeah.
There's
I know
been a
that.
disturbance in the concussion.
Her fingers are twitching. I get it. Like, it was serious.
Yep. Another thing is, so if your jammer goes out of bounds, if they get like pushed out of bounds
Oh,
by the
yeah.
enemy blockers, they have to reset and go behind the furthest blocker back on the track that they haven't passed.
Okay.
Yeah.
And if you don't go back, that's a penalty.
And then, yeah, they're out for 30 seconds. A few more players that I like to mention on the Canadian team. You have Princess Punch. You have Praying Mantis. You have Gorshak. And Freddy.
Oh, I'm most frightened of Freddy.
Freddy was awesome.
I would be too.
You guys have a bit of a story about Freddy, actually.
Yeah, we'll get there. It was amazing.
Yeah.
Um,
It is. I was right about Vet City and Queen of Hearts.
Yeah, very
5-5?
good. Very good.
Yes.
Good job, Fives.
Gorshak's number 8008.
Nice.
I respect
We
it.
just kept referring to her as Boob.
Right.
Is that who Boob was?
Yeah.
Okay.
8008.
I didn't get the reference.
So for Vet's team though, we had Bambi Thump Her,
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Silent but Deadly,
That's a nickname for a fart.
Lex Luthor, not bald, Red,
Could have fooled me. They all had helmets on.
the old Hamboni,
Okay.
Hexecutioner, Killin' Dem Hoes.
Yep.
She won MVP.
Yeah,
She
she
did.
did.
MVP blocker.
MVP blocker,
she was,
yep.
she was great.
MVP.
MVP.
Most valuable blocker.
Yep. Here we go.
So,
There
Can't-
were 4 games on the first day?
yes.
Yep.
4 bouts.
4 bouts. Canada ended up losing, I think, by like 30 or 40 points. Like
Which-
it was like 140 to like 89 or something like that.
And that's a real shame because if you were watching it, you could tell they were like very evenly matched.
Yeah.
It's just they got penalized so much and got so many power jams against them.
That being said, I believe it was in the middle of the next game where it was you had to leave. You had to go. Do
Yeah,
something.
Yeah.
it was
And that was
Burning
a darn
River-
shame.
Burning River versus the other Naptown
Yeah.
team.
Yes.
Yep.
It was actually the same Naptown team.
Okay, that's
They
right.
played
Yeah,
pretty
yeah.
much all the same people,
Mhm.
which is insane to me because like after a football game, like I was tired, I was beat,
Mm-hmm.
and like I can't imagine because they have less padding on. There's more contact in my opinion because it's just all constant. It's only like it's like an hour and a half long with the intermission, but still like
It's really intense. Like they
To-
cycle out the players after
Yeah.
every jam, but man, you could tell that some of them were just getting gassed by the end of it.
it was like to go back and then play a second game,
Mhm.
and there you have Roulette Wheels was like still just pushing people over like she was facing toddlers. Like, it got to the point where they were like, okay, well, she's just going to be our jammer. And you just watch her fucking just barrel through people, and it's like, how do you stop this thing?
So they can't shift positions.
hmm
Well, can they? Oh,
There's one that can, in the middle of the bout, like in the middle of in the jam or whatever, there's one blocker that wears a specific hat, and that's how they identify everybody, is what they have on their helmet. So there's the star, which is the jammer, and then there's one that has a stripe that's called the pivot.
Here's a bit of a nerd interruption here. The Star Jammers were a team that Cyclops' dad used to lead.
Wow.
Mm,
Cool.
yeah.
Anyways, so the one with the stripe is called the pivot, and they can actually pass off the jammer responsibilities to each other. So
during
that's-
the
yeah,
jam.
during
play.
during the moment.
Yeah.
Other than that, nobody else can really switch.
But, and mostly each player stays to their role. Like you'll have maybe 3 or 4 jammers that you cycle through after every jam.
Yep. I think there was only one time that I saw a switch, and that was today, where we saw at the very end Artuzo became a pivot.
Instead of a jammer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But during the third game, it was Burning River versus who else? I forget who.
Naptown, we just said
Oh yeah,
that.
Naptown.
Yeah.
Da. And Burning River also had a couple of cool names. There was one person I just could not take my eyes off of. But you have Annabelle Lecture, Aphrodite,
Oh,
Barbie. You have Frankenherder,
Something I will say,
Furious George.
Furious George. Something I will say is
no
it's a
tail
very,
on Furious George.
it's a very inclusive environment and it's a very accepting kind of community. And you see just the whole gamut of body types
You do.
on these teams, and I really appreciate that. It really
Yep.
kind of, I don't want to get more virtue signaling here or preachy, but I don't know. It's just like it really pushes what it means to be like an athlete and what an athlete looks like, because like I said, all of them had such athleticism out there.
Small tangent here. Can you imagine? So, I was thinking about this. I'm like 80% sure the reason Babe Ruth was so good at hitting home runs is because he was too fucking fat and lazy to run around.
Yeah.
So he's like,
Well, I think he also had stolen bases, though.
well, good for him. Point is, can
That
you
doesn't
imagine,
help his story.
Can you imagine
Sorry.
how fucking brutally powerful that man could have been if he had been like a trained athlete like we have
Yeah.
today?
Yep.
I
If
mean,
he
that
wasn't
guy-
smoking cigars.
I was gonna say
on the plate.
that guy over there in the dugout was fucking chugging beers, like shotgunning beers, like he was fucking Stone Cold Steve Austin.
He would have been fucking Mark McGuire without the asterisk.
Mhm.
So during the Burning River Naptown game, there were a couple of people from the Canadian team that came up to take a seat, and they sat behind me and Chris.
Mhm.
Uh,
It was at first it was Freddy and somebody else.
Destroyer.
it was Freddy and Destroyer. Yep.
Okay, yeah.
So
yeah.
you had like a personal rapport.
Yeah, we sat there and talked
we
to 'em.
talked to them for
And,
like
like-
the rest of the day.
And like, they were sitting there for a minute, and they're like, "Oh, where's the rest of the team? We'll go get them." And then like the rest of their team sat behind us.
Holy shit.
So we sat there and we talked to Destroyer, we talked to Freddy, we talked to
Flying Frenchie.
Flying Frenchie,
Did you talk to Artuzo?
We did. We sat there and talked to
Yeah.
her.
And Cody,
And it was right after Cody left. And I texted Cody, I'm like, the Canadians are sitting with us.
dude, I got there today, and Cody and we were watching the game, and we're talking, and Cody's just like, not gonna lie, like they're not professionals or anything, but I'm jealous. I'm jealous that you talked to Artuzo.
I was legitimately jealous of Artuzo. Like, I was starstruck at her ability.
Dude, we were talking to athletes.
Wow.
And it was an incredible, like,
dude.
one, it was really cool, and two, like, they were actually just genuinely funny and nice,
Mhm.
and like, it was just a casual ass conversation. They were explaining things to us. They asked us, they're like, so is like one of your guys' friends here? Or, like, why'd you guys come? I'm like, we just thought it'd be cool. We saw a roller derby. I'm like, I want to see some people beat the shit out of each other. And she's like, we don't really do that anymore. I'm like, I know.
But I'm still enjoying it.
Yes,
caught
ma'am.
up on that. I'm caught up on that. But no, they were explaining a lot of things to us. Artuzo was explaining like a little bit of her strategy and the things that she looks for, and I'm like, I bet
Like
Cody
in a
would-
partner?
No.
She gave off team captain energy, and she confirmed it,
Yeah,
basically.
100%.
She was definitely the team captain.
Like, she was behind us going like, guys, we need to improve on this and this, and pointing like out like players on the other teams, like, see that is good, we need to do that.
She was actually running like warm-ups and prep and everything, like
Mhm.
coaching
Cool.
people.
When somebody went down with an injury, she immediately went over there and was like,
Oh, yeah,
kneeling
that's
by her
right.
and, like,
Yeah.
helping
She was like
support her.
right there with anybody who was injured.
I
Yeah.
like that energy.
Mhm.
It was pretty cool. It was pretty cool seeing that.
If you got nobody, you got Artuzo.
Yep. But no, like, also I think one of my other favorite things is they confirmed. First of all, if you guys listen to this, you're great. I appreciate you.
They did tell them about the podcast,
Right.
Yeah.
and so they
Nice.
might be watching this episode.
But like, they asked if we had maple syrup here. Like,
Do we?
no, like down at the concession stand,
Oh.
if there was maple syrup for whatever they wanted to eat.
I think it was for the chicken
They were
tenders.
talking about Sweet Baby Ray's.
They were so excited that we had Sweet Baby Ray's and
Oh.
Heinz 57 sauce.
Sweet Baby Ray's is the only motherfucking barbecue sauce in my house.
That's fair. That's a fair thing. They didn't call it ketchup. They called it Heinz 57 sauce.
Interesting.
And I
Well, they
loved
didn't say
everything
Heinz
about it.
57 because Heinz 57 sauce is a sauce. They
Heinz
just-
57 and
just-
French fried potatoes.
Yeah,
That's the song.
They keep saying Heinz 57. They have Heinz 57. So I think they just meant the ketchup. And I'm like, why?
I love that so much. And
They
then,
were going to
like,
steal all the Sweet Baby Ray's.
and then like they saw me come back with fucking chicken tenders and a beer, and Flying Frenchie was like, they got beer? And then like 2 minutes later, her and Freddie are coming back fucking double fisting some fucking Michelob Ultra. And I'm like, these are my kind of people.
And
I looked at Chris, I'm like, I'm moving to Canada, baby.
one of them like, what you got? And I was like, a Michelob. I was like, it's a Michelob. We have them in Canada.
I wouldn't even know how to pronounce it.
I think I blushed a little bit because like they were telling us stuff, and then like they were talking about like why they were cutting back around. I'm like that's weird because I thought there was a time where I saw you Artuzo like just cut back in front of one of the blockers. She was like, oh, you guys pick up on things. That's I'm like, oh, stop it. Stop. Oh, you better. Oh.
That's another thing. So flat track, you don't have a wall
Right.
to keep you inside. So if you get knocked out, you have to
You get
then
up again.
you have to swing back around because you're not allowed to gain position by entering, and so or you'll get penalized. So one of the things that blockers will do is they'll rush backwards. So you're like, no, did I already pass them or not? So you'll have to swing back farther.
Mm.
Yeah. So cool.
And
it's 4D chess on skates.
it can be there can be a lot of layers of strategy to it.
Layers.
But the last thing that that I didn't expect that I learned from the Canadian team is they're not college mid-20 athletes. Like some of them are, but some of them are like 30s range. I think they have somebody on their team that's like mid-40s. Like they're getting up there, and I'm like, these people are still doing a high contact sport that most football players can't do past their 30s or into their 30s.
Yeah.
Like, that's incredible to me.
And they're just doing it for the love of the game.
Yeah.
And that's really it. Like, I asked them, I'm like, so, like, you guys talk shit, right? You guys talk shit while you're down there. They're like, no, actually, like, we compliment people when they lay us out. I'm like, really?
It's all a big community thing. We're very
you would be all over the get fucked, loser.
yeah.
That's the thing. That's what I told her. I'm like, well, that's disappointing. she's like, yeah, we don't really talk trash. I'm like, really? I'm the kind of person that reciprocates the energy that I get for the most part. But like, I want you to talk shit to me. I want you to talk shit. I want you to open up that can.
Oh man.
Talking to the Canadian team was honestly a highlight that's gonna live with me for a while.
Did you
Yeah.
get to see him again today?
We did actually.
Yeah.
They played.
They came and
who
saw
they
us.
played? They played Cleveland, right?
No,
They
they played
played
Purple
us.
Rain. They
Oh,
played
that's
Dayton.
Yeah, they played our A team. Purple
Didn't go
Rain's
so
our
well
A
for
team.
'em.
Purple Rain won.
Yeah, they-
by a lot.
Is Dayton like really good?
I'm not 100%
We're
sure.
ranked pretty well.
It's hard to really tell because apparently from 2020 to like 2022, there was not a lot of playtime.
This was like the first event in years.
What
Yeah.
are the odds?
I know, right?
Dude, yeah.
But apparently, Purple Rain was ranked pretty highly.
It was
Yeah.
one of the stats I found from our website for them is ranked 11 out of 104.
That's 11 in the world because it's an international association.
Maybe? I don't know.
Well,
I'm not
I
100%.
think there are
sure.
regions.
Oh, 11th in the region. Okay, yes. I think I'll agree with that. I think we were 61 in the world.
Yeah, okay.
Still, that's
Still,
pretty
yeah.
crazy.
Yeah, like
Because I know they've definitely
There's-
made it to international tournaments.
there are over 400 leagues in 6 continents. That's what the WFTDA, the Women's Flat Top
Derby Association.
is called.
Do they also believe the world is flat?
Track's flat.
Track's flat and world's flat.
That's all that matters.
Track's flat.
No
wheels
curve.
around.
So the final game of the day was Purple Rain versus
No, it wasn't. It was the,
the first
Violet.
day.
Oh,
Of the
okay.
first
of the
day.
first
Yeah.
day. Yeah.
was Purple Rain against
So the Pennsylvania team.
Penn Jersey.
Yeah.
And
From Philly.
from looking at their B team, the Violet
Femmes.
Femmes to the Purple Rain was a big cut. Was a big cut. Like
Yeah.
you saw a huge difference. And even then, that was the closest, most dramatic game that we had. Cody, you missed out on a lot, man. I wish
Dude,
No.
you should have not gone to your sister's recital. I don't know why you went to that bitch's recital.
Good lord.
He showed me
I'm
the
just
video.
kidding. He
It was
respects
very,
women.
It was very nice.
I respect roller derbyist.
Good point.
uh,
Was
But,
it a roller derby recital?
No, just gymnastics.
God damn it.
but anyways, in that game, like Purple Rain took like a pretty good lead, and they kept the lead all the way up to the end. But it was always within like 20 points.
Yeah.
And like the most run that we saw in a jam was like 28, I think.
Yeah.
So it's possible to gap that. And it was all the way up into the last jam. Then the Purple Rain's jammer went out with a penalty.
Mhm.
So that gave them and they complained about it. So that gave the other team a full minute of just trying to catch up and score.
Oh my god.
And it got down to the last 30 seconds. The Canadian team was having us go high five everybody like it was some high school stuff. I wasn't really for it, but I wasn't really against it either. So we went down to the track and we were just watching the last 30 seconds at eye level, 10 feet away from it. And
That's another thing is that you could have trackside seating. You didn't have to sit up in the stands.
Yeah.
You could be on the
Wow.
floor.
and they get within 2 points, and then we watch as they go around the final turn, and you see Penn Jersey's team cut across and get 4 point a 4-point lead right when our jammer comes back in. And the Penn Jersey team could have just called it at that moment because they were the lead jammer. They could have just called out the jam and won. But for some reason they didn't. I'm not 100% sure why.
Maybe they didn't see.
It might have been because since our jammer was in the penalty box, they have to go around at least once. They got to get past the other jammer. Or they got to get past the blockers before they can call off the jam.
Okay.
Like, both jammers have to get through the blockers once. So that might have been the reason why, but I'm not 100% sure. Either way, when they got past the last jammer, or the last blocker, they got penalized for something. So they had to go to the box, and then the Purple Rain jammer became the lead jammer, so they could call off whenever they wanted to. That gave them 30 seconds to retake the lead. And they were pushing past and trying, and they were getting blocked long enough for Pin Jersey's jammer to come back. And, like, everybody was around the fucking track at this point, and, like, people were going crazy. And then, like...
Because this is, like, the last, like, 30 seconds of the game.
And at this point, I think there was, like, 10 seconds left in the jam. Purple Rain was down by 2. And, like, both jammers were out. Both jammers were pushing, trying to get through and secure the win. And you just see Purple Rain's jammer fucking squeeze through all 4 of them, like, underneath of them, and get through and call it off. And, like, that was the game. And the crowd fucking erupted, dude. It was nuts.
It was like 158 to 156.
Yeah.
Us winning.
It was insane. And all 130 people fucking, like, maybe 130 people just, like, echoed through the fucking
all
gym.
13 people.
Like, I had, like, legit chills at the end of that. That was insane to me.
Good
I
stuff.
feel so bad, like legitimately bad for missing that moment. I don't know if I've just bought into the own hype that we've created about this. I don't know if I just like ironically love this because I like the idea of showing the same amount of enthusiasm for a less conventional sport as you would say football or basketball. And just being like a rowdy fan and a hooligan for women's flat track roller derby. Not like I said, not to denigrate what they do. But it's certainly a smaller community. I don't know. I bought merch. I didn't hesitate for a second to buy
All three
merch.
of us.
All 3 wearing our
Oh,
merch.
I thought it was just a blank shirt. I can't see shit on that shirt.
Yeah, you know.
And
He has the same one. This douchebag bought the same thing as me.
like
Great. I didn't even notice you guys were wearing the same shirt. I'm gonna be totally real.
like I don't know. I don't know. I just like it. And I want to support my girls.
I want you to know, I will root.
I want
for Gem
Canadian
City.
jerseys.
I will root for Gem City, but my heart lies with Canada.
Yeah.
My
Bootleggers.
Yep.
Oh, Canada.
Scott, you might appreciate this story. Shifting gears slightly.
Ooh.
I want to tell you just how much of a social smooth brain I am.
Yeah.
Yes! Yes!
So, we were at intermission for the first bout. You know, we were going to go get food or whatever at concessions, and they have a merch table set up for like hoodies and hats and all kinds of stuff. So we go over there, and I'm like, oh, I don't know if I ironically want to wear roller derby gear, but I'm gonna buy it.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh, do you have any hoodies in like a size small? And they're like, no, we're out of smalls for hoodies. And I'm like, my brain is like, oh no, things are going wrong. My expectations are being met. I came over here thinking it would go one way, and it just starts, the gears just start turning. And I'm like, okay.
I'll take this.
Well, can I have this? Do you have this in a small? And they're like, no, we don't have any smalls for that either. And then one of them's like, oh, well, that display one is a small. You can have that one. And I'm like, okay, I'll buy this. It was just like a purple shirt or whatever with like the Gem City Roller Derby logo on it. And I'm like, okay, I'm buying this. And I'm like, I'm gonna go put it on.
Yeah.
So I go to the bathroom, and I didn't even realize I bought a women's tank top.
Maybe they didn't want to assume your gender.
I would have loved if you would have walked out with that on. Like,
I
here we go.
Like, I felt so uncomfortable wearing this. And like, I think I heard them say, oh, that's a tank top. And I'm like, well, I said I was going to buy this, so I can't change my answer.
Thing is, the sign right behind it said purple tank.
Yep.
Now just assume I'm a fucking retard.
Okay.
What is a tank top?
It's just a wife beater.
It's just like a sleeveless shirt.
Okay, gotcha.
Yeah. Thing is,
But a women's tank top is like cut differently. So like a
Right.
men's tank top is like, it's not tapered or anything.
Yeah.
And this one was not fitting me
Right.
like a tank top should.
see, when
I
you-
go over to them and I'm like, why am I like this?
First time you
You're like,
come
I
and
think
say,
you were gonna like. You were thinking about just like keeping it, just be like, I fucked up.
Yep, I just have this tank top that I'm never going to wear now.
Meanwhile, my interaction with them, because I was right behind him in line. As soon as he walks away with it, I'm like, "Y'all got any 2X or 3X gear, anything?" And they're like, we got a 2X of this. I'm like, "That a baseball tee?" And they're like, "Yeah." I'm like, "I'll take a 2X of that." And that was my interaction with him. And then like I see him go to the bathroom. I'm like, I don't know if I want to put it on yet, but I do want a Mountain Dew. And then he comes back to tell me what's going on.
Yeah.
so when you did that, I thought in my head it was not a tank top. I thought you meant like a crop top.
Mm.
It cut off.
And I was like,
I
and
would have
then
loved that even more.
You walk to exchange it for the shirt you currently have on, and I'm just like, he could have worn that. Of the three of us, he's the one who has like a stomach he can show.
Also, respect to what they named this event. If you want to pull it out a little bit, you
Oh,
notice
yes.
that there's an exclamation mark between the E and the N.
It was the Miami Valley Open Regional Tournament.
Open. Hey,
Like
Because
that
we're
Midwestern
Midwestern.
word.
like that
Yeah.
noise that I make sometimes. Open.
Yep.
That's the name of John's character in Chris's game. Oh,
Yep.
Oh. So that was our weekend. That was, the weekend that we shared together.
Yeah.
It was a lot of fun, and I want to go to the next one.
Our journey of how it started to where we're at now is actually pretty incredible.
I really do feel like we decided to go just ironically.
We did, yeah, 100%. And then like we were seeing all this stuff happen, and like you and I said at the beginning when I don't know where Chris was, but I was like, honestly, if this turns out not bad, you're like, you want to go tomorrow? I'm like, depending on how it is, yeah.
I was at the bathroom. I was not there for that.
Yep.
It wasn't until Canada was like, "Are you guys coming tomorrow?"
yes, Dad.
And I was like, "I got work," and they're like, "Call up." Like this is the
Did you call
whole.
off?
He did.
The whole
you
line.
motherfucker.
I did not.
I can't believe
I
He
did
didn't
not
call
call
off.
off.
Okay.
He
I-
left early.
I go to work. So it's inventory week, right at work. And so I'm not allowed to touch almost anything until it's counted on the floor. But the company that comes in and counts all the floor stuff is at our other store until like after 1. And I'm just like, to my manager, I'm like, "Dude, is there anything for me to do?"
Roller derby.
And he's like, "Nah," and I'm like, "Yeah." And so I was telling him about the day I had the day before, and I was like, "Yeah, apparently it was a 2-day event, and I'd be there right now, but I'm here." And he's like, "Leave." And I'm like, "All right."
Wow.
Dude. I
He's
can
a cool
say
dude.
I can say my niece and nephew who listens to this podcast on Friday night found out that I was going to the roller derby event. And then my nephew's birthday was today at 1:00. And I told him, I'm like
I'm missing that shit.
well, no,
I gotta
my
rep my
nephew texted
girls.
me and he was like, "How was roller derby?" I'm like, "You wouldn't even know." And then like I show up at my nephew's at my sister's house for his birthday party, and I'm like, "I'm not staying long." And they're like, "Oh, what's going on?" I'm like,
You wouldn't understand.
I'm like, I gotta go support my girls. I used it a little bit different lingo, but that's basically what I said.
I'm a derby kid now.
And I was wearing this, and my niece was like, "So how was roller derby?" And I'm like, "It was fucking awesome. I met this girl named Freddie that'll fucking just dual wield beer," and she's like, "Wow."
And then you told me, you framed it like you were telling everybody, "Hey, I gotta go," and then your sister's like, "But we're about to cut the cake," and you're just like, "Tell him happy birthday." And then you left.
my mom's like, "Wait, where are you going?" And my sister's like, "He's gotta go." He's got to go support his gang. And she's like, "Gang?" And my sister's like, "Yeah, he's in a gang full of women now."
I wasn't planning on going today either, but these guys started talking about how they were talking up the Canadians, and I'm like, could I meet the Canadians tomorrow?
Yeah.
Oh man, I
Uh,
wish you would have got to meet the
man.
Canadians.
Unfortunately,
So-
they left immediately after their game because
But
they
one
had
of
to
them
go
came
to
up-
Canada.
Frenchie
Yeah.
Frenchie came back. So they recognized us from
Obviously.
the day before, and so like
They were
during,
sitting on their bench waving at us.
yeah. During intermission, we were all like, yeah. Wait a minute. It was great. And then after the game, Frenchie was the only one that came back up and was like, hey guys, I hope you continue watching roller derby, but we gotta go. We're like 10-hour drive back to Ontario. I
Oh
was like,
man,
but yeah,
I love the
Guelph?
Canadian team. Yeah.
yes.
the Royal City.
Yes. If I ever visit Toronto, I'll make sure to try to see if there's a roller derby happening close by. Gotta go rep.
How deep are we?
We're at 57 minutes.
Well,
Dude. So, would you ever go to a roller derby competition with us?
it's too early.
I think it would be worth it.
The regular season is going to start this summer, and they don't start they start at 3.
I'm a nighttime cretin.
I will say, I really see a world where like you go and you're like,
I mean, that's the thing.
this is it.
I don't like sport, and like,
Neither does he.
okay, here's my mini capitalist rant. I don't even have the resources to get into it the way you guys did, getting chicken tendies and fucking
The
t-shirts.
food, not great.
It was
It was all right.
It was like stadium food.
Yeah.
not worth.
Either
it was
way,
expensive
it would
too.
just be me sitting there for 8 hours watching
Well,
the sport.
yeah. I mean,
If you went alone, you could talk to us.
Yeah, I know, but I don't even like sport, so
I think, like I said, we didn't have any expectations going in, and we really found enjoyment in it.
Mm-hmm.
I think that was the key thing. Was we legitimately went in with no expectations.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like if we would have went in like really expecting to watch people fucking clothesline each other and drop kick each
Like
other,
it's WWE.
yeah,
yeah.
like fucking RKO two of the blockers. Like, I think if we did that, we would have walked away like, what the fuck? Did we really just pay all that money for this?
It's
So-
I'm not a huge fan of sports, so it's probably a good thing I'm an EP on a roller
Yeah.
derby anime.
Right. Oh, the roller derby anime. Let's talk about
Well,
this.
first, we've heard a lot of really awesome names.
Oh, yes.
What would your guys' names be?
Oh, I've forgotten
Because
mine.
I want to be
Remember it again.
number 69.
Nice.
That's my name with an exclamation point.
That's it.
And like,
That's you.
here comes nice 69. Yeah.
Number
Oh, you really-
69.
You
Nice.
really blew out the microphone there.
I was thinking about mine. Mine would
You want to go last so you have time to think about it?
You guys know that I use a couple of these names. I haven't found an opportunity to use them yet, but it'd either be Chet Hazard, Dominic Hazard, or Rickshaw Purge. I just really like Rickshaw Purge or Tusk Abattoir.
That's disgusting.
What? Damn. We actually did talk a little bit. We're like, dude, if we were on a derby team, like, what positions would we be? And I'm like, well, I'm a terrible skater. I've gone on 2 ice skate dates, and both of them ended with bruised tailbones.
Yep.
It was an awful experience for me.
And I can't skate at all.
So you would have to be the jammer.
Yeah. I'm clearly the jammer.
But I think I'd be good at knocking people over
Yeah, I think
Yeah.
so.
if I can stay on my feet.
I can't.
That being said, I said my name would either be Chonk or while we were there today, I was like, traffic jam.
Ooh.
All right.
You have been in multiple collisions.
Oh, collision course.
Oh, that's a
good
really
one.
good one.
That's a good one. I think my number would be 42, and I just named myself Slarty Bartfast.
There you go. Okay.
Yeah.
I didn't even think about numbers.
Mine would probably be 339. Just on the top of my head.
That's fair. That's fair.
Mhm.
30
Or
30
4-4.
So 30 was my original baseball number. 32 was my baseball number in high school, and then 71 was my football number. But like, you can go up to 4 digits.
Mm-hmm.
So like, he could do 69, and I would just do like 69 because I like to one up you.
Yeah. Well, that'd be 70. Can you not do math?
One more than
concussions.
That's
Another good one
That's right.
for you Stormlight Archive fans out there. Just be Calading's Rink Blessed.
Ring blast.
Is that what they're called? I don't know.
I think they call it a track.
Ugh.
There was even a couple of names that I was like skeptical on. Like there was a Renona Spider. Sorry, Renona, if you ever listen to this. And like I looked at Cody, I was like, that's a terrible name. If you're doing like you're trying to do like a roller derby pun, like why not be Renona Strider? That just fits better.
That just makes me think of Lord of the Rings.
Does it?
Strider.
Mm-hmm.
That's Aragorn.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, we want to get your thoughts on something else too. We
Right.
want to pitch some of these concepts
Okay.
for our roller derby anime. So who would like to start? Where are we
Well,
starting?
I need you guys to help refresh my memory because we didn't write any of this down.
Oh well,
As is tradition.
so I think
Yes.
we're casting Artuzo as one of the main characters.
Yeah.
We actually are.
Yes.
We were talking about like,
Uh,
she can be an inspiration to one of the
So we-
female main
we need to
characters.
decide, is the main character the captain, or is the captain the support?
We're
The
saying-
main character is going to be a jammer.
He's
Okay.
going to be a jammer,
Yeah.
and he's going to be a new guy
Yes.
because
And this is a multi-sectional thing where he doesn't have gender doesn't matter.
It's-
So,
Yeah.
so the school that they're going to. This is also a high school anime.
yeah.
The school that they're going to, the roller derby team is really down on its luck, and they can't field enough members, so they're having to do co-ed.
yeah.
And so it'll be co-ed, and the main character will be the person who's just tried out for the team, and he looks like he's got some potential to be a jammer, but
Mhm.
the head, like the star jammer, is going to be like his rival at the start of it, and he's going to be really pompous and like look down on him.
And there'll be a lot of fan art of them fucking.
Oh, for
Oh, totally.
sure.
Yeah, it's
Absolutely. They're going to do it.
Naruto and,
They're not going to be.
Sasuke.
Sasuke shit.
It's not going to be fan art. It's going to be in season 2.
Okay.
Oh, yeah.
All
Oh.
right.
Oh, that's interesting because part of our idea was halfway through season 1, he gets the lead jammer spot,
Mm-hmm.
and that guy exchanges to a different school.
No, what'll happen is he gets the lead jammer spot because some sacrifice play, he busts his knee. Lead jammer busts his knee.
We were saving that for another one.
Oh.
Another character
Okay.
sacrifice play.
No, what's gonna happen is the lead character, he's gonna make the team just barely. And like the coach is, just very deferential to this Star Jammer, and the Star Jammer doesn't want him on the team.
But
But-
Artuzo.
Artuzo, who is the number 2 jammer.
Artuzo.
There we go.
Ah,
She is gonna vouch for him, and she's gonna take an interest in like take him under her wing and
Right.
train him up so
Mama
that
hen.
he can be they can be like Star Jammers together.
Okay.
So he gets the jammer spot. The Star Jammer gets angry, goes to a new school, a rival school, a better school, and end of season 1 they play them,
Mm-hmm.
and that's the big drama is at the end of season 1.
yeah.
Season 2 is where they're fucking because they beat him, and now he's just like down on his luck and he needs a win
Right.
somewhere.
Like Vegeta.
Sure.
And so, by the way, the blockers for the team, they're just gonna be big, like sumo wrestler guys.
Yeah, there's gonna be like, I want to call them like the Dudley Brothers.
Okay.
They're gonna be big boys.
Okay.
And like or maybe not on their team, maybe on a different team. Like it's a challenge of the week kind of thing. But I could just imagine like a season anime where they just kind of like slide into frame on the track, and they'll just be like, "Oh, you think you're getting by us, Jammer? Not gonna happen."
Oh, dude. And like together their jammer or their blocker names could be Road and Jam.
Okay.
I don't know.
block
Block them and block.
Roadblock. There you go. And so the kind of the over the arc for season 2 is the main team. They're like regional champions or whatever, and they're going to have to go play a very well connected team. Like they have like
The Clintons.
yes. They have like the backing of politicians or whatever, and like it's a little shady.
Mm-hmm.
And the fix is in for the championship game, but the main team wins. But then the other team that lost is going to call in their connections and get the team arrested and
Oh.
sent to prison.
Oh
Yeah.
my
And
god.
season
Season
3 is
3.
going to be Prison League.
Where
Here you go.
the rules are thrown out the window, and I have this scene where there is a jammer that is a paraplegic and has a
prosthetic leg.
prosthetic leg, and so she's coming around.
Or he. Either one.
It's a lady in my head,
Okay.
and she's coming
It's
around,
always a lady.
Co-ed
and
prison.
and our lead jammer is going, and she just pops off her leg and just fucking whacks him. And it just knocks him out.
His face hits
And
the
then
track.
Artuzo is the only jammer left
Because,
for that bout, and just
Oh,
has
man.
to just go.
But that's the thing. To add on to this, to win, she steals the prosthetic leg and knocks the other jammer off
she
balance.
can't move.
Yeah.
I mentioned this prison league story arc to John, and I'm like, the same thing happened in Riverdale, if you've ever seen that. And
he
he's like,
starts boxing.
yeah, he starts
Yeah.
boxing in prison.
Yeah.
And John's like, that is such a season 3 thing to do. And I'm like, it happened in season 3 of Riverdale.
I couldn't tell you what Riverdale is. No
It's,
fucking clue.
It's like Archie, the Archie comics, but Archie's
Edgy.
Weird Mysteries.
Okay.
Mhm.
I like the idea that the coach that they have for their team is
Oh, yeah,
just
yeah.
like the gym coach, and it's like, oh, it's a sport. Yeah, I'll do it for you guys. Yeah.
Not really
Oh,
committed
fun
to
fact. The Gem City coach is Chris F.
it.
Wow.
I know.
The other one was Be Naughty, I believe.
Yes.
Oh,
Yes.
even some of the refs had names. Like
Yeah.
one of them was like Dread something.
Dreddy Mercury's poison.
Yeah. that was one of them.
Oh, okay.
Anyway,
We interrupted you.
and so after they get back, and they're like, we got to buckle down, we got to do good, and we're gonna do the world championship, and
The high school world championship.
yeah, roller derby, and 6 continents, John. And he's like in his thing, like he's going through like all their old equipment and stuff, and he finds this pair of old rollerblades with gold
plate,
wheels,
yeah. Mhm.
and he looks at the underneath it, and he finds a name, and he's like, "Oh, interesting." And so he's just like taking his math exam, and he's like notices just like a small like a medallion that the teacher wears.
The gym teacher?
The math
No,
teacher.
the math
Oh,
teacher.
okay.
Different
And he's
teacher.
like, huh. And so after the exam, everyone's gone, and he goes up to his teacher and is like, and he says the name on the blades,
the derby name.
and the teacher just goes and closes the blinds and is like, I haven't heard that name.
Well,
in a
no,
long
I
time."
can tell you what it'll be. She's like writing something on the chalkboard, and he says the name, and she's like,
And it snaps. Yeah.
Oh yeah,
And
that's
she
even
looks
more
down.
perfect.
no, that's a name I haven't. Yeah, like that.
And
Oh, dude, we had some real interesting moments. we
and
came up with.
and like the main jammer is like, you were a legend back in your day. You gotta coach us. And
No, I don't do that in life
And
anymore.
now you have like a Cars moment where like she teaches him his next new thing to help them make it to the finals.
Well, I
Nice
was gonna say-
Cars reference.
I was gonna say it's more like when Lightning McQueen challenges Doc Hudson in Cars, and he loses. The main character loses to the math teacher. But then he decides to coach him anyways because he sees the potential.
Right.
Yeah.
And- but he's like really dismissive of it. He's like, well, you're so terrible you can't even beat an old white hair. I guess I'm gonna have to help you out.
Yeah.
And then it gets into the real shonen aspect, like the scaling between Shippuden and
Boruto?
well, no, it would be Naruto then to Shippuden.
Like
Oh,
I was-
what about this? What about this? They're playing a really dirty. This is like season finale kind of stuff. They're playing a really dirty team,
like
and
that
they're just
Kentucky team. I'm just kidding.
and they're just racking up injuries, and the coach is like,
Put me in.
I've got to do it. I've got to do it for my team, and he knows he's gonna get broken.
absolutely
But
blasted.
they need 5 players, so he puts on his skates one last time and just gets ripped in half by one of the blockers.
Oh, that's a great way to end the episode because like the episode ends with like you see one of the golden wheels or something. You see like one of
It
the
just
wheels
rolls away.
but then you see it like flip onto its side, just as a,
Cut to black.
and then like as soon as it stops, cuts to black.
We could have like this. Let's face it, this will be on our YouTube channel, so there's no need to have like the commercial break thing in. But it's a thing about anime, so like it's all just like rules of roller derby.
We could get Andy
Like-
to score it.
Yep.
Yes.
Oh my
yes,
god!
yes.
Who needs a production team when we have friends?
And favors to call in.
Andy, remember that time that you didn't die from my car wreck? Guess what, bitch?
Sabers being called in.
Hey,
What?
hey, Andy, it looks like you're really wanting that new magic item in D&D. What if that was on your character sheet? No questions asked.
Wow.
Oh man, there was like, I think like I still don't know how real this is for us. I've never been able I've never had so much trouble reading if this is a joke or not to us. But there was a moment where I'm like, dude, we could have like a cool like trailer moment where the jammer, like he sees like the opening in the gaps and like everything slows down, like it gets darker around the edges of the screen and it just like focuses on his breathing and like he sees the gap and like you just see him just like breathe in slowly, breathe out slowly. And you see him start to dodge and dip around everybody. And it's all in English, except for one guy who's
Nani?
it's clearly Japanese. And he just gets around him and just like the hardest accent.
In one...
Well, no. We're gonna dub it.
Yeah.
In Japanese. It's gonna be a subbed anime.
Watashi wa umasuke.
There's gonna be a Ohio.
Ohio goes omayasu.
Genki desu ka?
Ohio goes in your ass.
There has to be a scene where the best friend of our lead jammer, he joins the team to support his buddy, and he's learning some stuff, but he's an awful player. But
he only joined to fill out the roster,
exactly,
so they can field the team.
And during this time, they're like in the finals of this small tournament, whatever. But they're losing badly, and he's like, I'm gonna go out there and I'm gonna get it for us, guys. And like it's just like Rock Lee's moment of
nobody can stop the other team's jammer. I have to be the one, and he just pivots hard and stands in place.
Forgive me, coach,
and you just see like the slow
but I must
motion
go all
of
out.
his helmet flying away.
Yeah. And then he gets injured and can't play for the rest of the thing, but he's just there as like support.
Also, this isn't real life. It wasn't the case in real life, but there were paramedics there. I think in our anime, the paramedics need to also be on roller skates.
Yes.
Sure.
That was another thing. The refs didn't have to be in roller skates. They just were.
Yeah.
It was awesome. They were so graceful. So graceful. Like there was this time that because you have your arm out pointing at your lead jammer, right? And you have your arm up
To
saying
declare
how many points.
they get.
Yeah. And then there you have another ref going around
Following
with the other
the trailing jammer.
going like swan motion.
Just
to
like
say,
birds
"No,
flying."
Not this one.
And, like,
not this one. That one's the lead.
My favorite thing
And-
is the female ref would just like casually just like no,
But the dude
nothing really
was
into
like,
it, but the guys were like
"Yes!"
He
all
just had
about it.
so much grace.
like a ballerina.
Okay. Hold on.
But this one time, they were going around, and not the lead jammer was going in front of the lead jammer, and the dude just like got real low, squatting, and just kept going underneath the outward stretched arm of the other ref.
So beautiful.
Oh, I missed that one.
It was perfect.
Okay.
Go ahead.
How serious are you three?
I am very serious. I want to start writing it.
I'm game to try.
You have a degree.
I want to put it to use.
Here's the like. Obviously, we don't know the first thing about making anything.
And that leads to our sponsor for the night, Skillshare. I'm just kidding. But no, seriously, like Skillshare, we could just like hop on there, see what they got.
Here's the
Learn a
thing.
little bit of animation, see what we can do with it.
We have so many ideas for like little moments for in bouts, and it's not going to be realistic at all. It's going to be like so hyper crazy.
90% of anime, especially shonen anime, is derivative of other better shonen anime.
Okay.
Yeah.
So we could just do, like, my initial pitch as the fucking joke that I said was My Hero Academia, but on roller skates.
Yeah.
I mean, we can also look like there's sports anime. And we can kind of look at them a little bit to get a better idea of like how we can structure it properly.
I just have this idea of one of the blockers who's just like this big guy. He just does like a fastball special with one of the other blockers. and just spears the other team's jammer, and it just like they crash into a wall or something. They crash through the wall.
You get the.
I love the idea that in the prison league there is an all ninja team,
Okay.
and they have kunais and like bamboo
Ultimate
swords.
people.
And like, yeah,
Oh, there was
and
that
like,
other. There was
there
that
are-
other one where the jammer was coming around the track. They're the lead jammer, and they get it. Their blockers get into the position, and they just form like a pyramid.
Oh,
and
yeah.
the jammer
Just
skates
steps
up
up
it,
them.
ramps over him, and jumps over the other
Yeah.
team.
We do need.
there needs to be a punchy pit at some point.
No.
We need a character. I think this is a good what's the word I'm looking for? Good
Development.
person to be
Personality.
the
Foil?
like a good person to be the romantic interest.
Oh,
Oh,
Artuzo.
it's Artuzo.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah,
no,
spoiler alert.
I want her to be the mama hen, right? I was thinking we need like somebody to maintain the equipment, and she could
Okay.
be some nerdy girl who's like, I'm not very good at
Oh,
skating.
what if we do like a Naruto thing where like he's interested in Artuzo, but this girl's interested in him, and it's season 5.
Steal from better anime?
Yeah.
And like I was also saying like structure wise, we could do like freshman year, season 1, sophomore year, season 2, season 3,
Yeah.
season 4. Season 5 goes off to college.
Mhm.
Start to mix it up a little bit. You got him. You got Artuzo went to the same
By that
college
time,
as him.
it's not season 5. That's a new series.
Oh, sure.
Yeah, sure,
Oh, yeah,
sure,
yeah.
absolutely.
That's roller derby shipping it.
Also,
Yes.
we didn't really get into this. Artuzo, her family comes from a long line of like figure skaters,
Mhm.
Okay.
but she always got into fights when she was in like elementary school.
In the
middle
anime
school.
or in real life?
in the anime.
Okay.
I didn't
We
talk
don't
about
know
her personal
anything
life.
about.
Sorry, Artuzo. Sorry, we probably shouldn't use your name, but you know,
If you want us to, if you will let us use your name, please let us. Because how fucking badass
we
is
are
it?
going to steal number 11 though. That is going to be the number.
It's in honor of you, not.
But
not
yeah,
to
she
steal it
comes from a
you.
long line of figure skaters, and her like family is just really disappointed in her that she went into roller derby.
Right.
No.
And so that's her motivation to have a good team.
Incredible.
But that's also why she's so skilled on the track, is because she has all this background training in figure skating from when she was younger.
Like, we're talking triple sow cows to get over
she can just,
people
yeah,
here.
just a quadruple axle over a blocker.
Like, yes.
And like, it sounds a little bit crazy. I'm pretty sure we saw that on the track yesterday.
Yeah.
That'd be...
She, going back to her, sorry, we're going right back to this, my bad. There were some crazy moves she did to dodge people.
Mhm.
I mean, she did like a full squat to dodge a defender, and like she was like maybe 2 feet off the ground. And like you just see her skate right under the person.
Mhm.
And like everybody went, I say everybody, I went nuts over that. I was like, who the fuck is this person?
Kilmore Girl also
She was
had
also
a lot
doing
of
some
jumps
crazy
and stuff.
shit.
Good
Yes.
name.
Yep.
Yes. Very good name.
Oh yeah, the jumps. Everybody went wild for the jumps when you can like cut corners if you jump over over the corner. You're not technically out of bounds unless your skates land.
Oh.
Yeah.
One
So
of,
like
so-
they straight hurdled people.
one of our best players was Shredder.
Mm-hmm.
And
There was a sign of a cheese grater.
yeah, she was so good at getting as low as possible and just weaving in and out of people.
Mm-hmm.
It was phenomenal.
Wow.
Yeah.
So,
There needs to be a scene where they're doing like the Dirty Dancing,
oh my gosh,
and
yeah.
a blocker holds up
A water bucket.
the jammer, and the jammer takes off their felt helmet and hands it over everybody so that our
they can pass
pivot.
it off.
Yes.
Oh no! So main character is Jammer, Artuzo's pivot, and
Yes.
the blocker like lifts him up into the air
Yes.
one-handed, and he just like a frisbee just.
Wow.
And then later on,
And
there's going to
then-
be an injury that happens. Where like he gets lifted up and you see the blocker just get fucking eliminated.
Yeah,
And
And
like
he's just-
it's like slow motion, just the
as he's falling through the air.
How? Okay, guys. seriously.
Yes.
I know.
I'm on board.
I've never heard so much motivation for something like this. All great ideas start out as a joke, though. I think.
What are the steps? We need. I don't think us learning animation is good enough. We need an animator.
We
Here's-
probably do. Yeah.
Here's what we do. We head over to Japan. We get a
Okay.
meeting with Toei Animation.
Okay.
We're
Okay.
like, konnichiwa. We have your next shonen anime.
And then they they're like, you know what? Like,
And then we show them this podcast.
sure, okay.
We just all sit there in the office
We show them a
for an hour and a half.
And then they take it as their own, and we make nothing off of it. But we're proud that we got to see it.
We
come
show
out.
them a picture of Artuzo,
Okay.
the lady,
Yeah.
Yep.
and we're just like,
Her.
anime.
No, I think our first step is piecing together a minute-long trailer.
The trailer should
we
be
can-
the first step, surely.
we can. So like the idea is like we play around. Like I think for us to be able to get anything out of anybody, we give them an idea of like what it should entail.
You know we
Mhm.
might be able to do.
Monty, oh, he's dead.
I was just about to bring up, maybe we could do it like Ruby, so that we don't have to draw, we can just like animate 3D models.
Yeah.
Personally, I fucking despise that. I hate the look of the CG like that. But
Mm.
I understand,
you
but...
gotta make it happen.
Mhm.
Yep.
But I think that's the first step is like I feel like we dabble a little bit in animation ourselves enough to be able to make like not an actual trailer of like everything being perfect, but like
Mhm.
every like
Like a concept.
Yeah.
yeah, exactly,
Yeah.
like a concept trailer.
Backup idea. Instead of an anime, we make it just a visual novel video game.
But then, like, you get to choose who you bang. Is one of these?
Yeah, I mean, obviously, that's just
Sure.
Well,
just a requirement for visual
Yeah,
novels.
Yeah, exactly.
If Chris or I wait, hold on, what?
Finish your thought.
Yeah.
No, I'm good.
Okay.
I hope you guys
still got
enjoyed
your
this.
wristband on, huh?
I hope
I
you guys
did.
enjoyed this episode.
I did. You were talking to us, right?
No.
No.
I hope our roller derby, well, your guys' roller derby friends listened in.
I hope so.
That'd be wonderful.
Yeah.
Leave a comment.
Devin, G, I appreciate you guys. You guys were incredible.
Freddie, Artuzo, thank you for talking to my friends. And if you're ever in Dayton, let us know.
Even like Ohio or Indiana, I'll come hang out with you guys.
Yeah,
I'll figure it
that
out.
was great.
Heck, we might even make a day of it. Drive up to Detroit, meet him up
meet
there.
you guys halfway.
Yeah, yeah.
Well,
Take us home, Chris.
We had a fun time. We had some good talking. And Scott didn't talk as much. I think that's a
God.
win.
kidding, I love
Goodbye,
you.
everybody!
farewell.
Bye.